Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Retro Sci-Fi Night at the bar at the edge of the universe, the show where we kick back, have a few drinks, and enjoy some retro sci-fi. I'm your host, Adrian Maddox, and tonight we're going to be listening to a 1957 radio show called A Saucer of Loneliness. Now, this show is based off of the 1953 short story by Theodore Sturgeon. And, they made a radio show, and hopefully it's pretty good. This is going to be one of my first radio shows that I've listened to. I've listened to The War of the Worlds before, but I'm pretty excited to see how it differs from that. I got my booze here ready to go, and I made a deal that anytime they say UFO, I will be taking a shot. So I guess we'll leave it to see by the end how messed up I am from all this. Who knows? It might not be too bad. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into this. Let's get this started.
X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire.
Here we go. I feel like I'm in a rocket ship right now. I hope you guys don't judge me. I'm drinking Truly right now. I don't have anything else. I have other things for shots, but...
Horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future.
I don't like
Adventures
strawberry.
in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, presents
X minus 1.
X minus 1.
Tonight. The time is June 25th, 1962. The place, a lonely beach. The story, Saucer of Loneliness by Theodore Sturgeon.
So, for shots, I have Jack Daniel's single barrel Tennessee whiskey. And it is disgusting. Let me smell this.
Jason Beniades.
Yeah, it smells terrible.
Reporter, 31 years old.
Jason Beniades, all right.
I write poetry, but I don't show it to anybody because they might laugh.
That sounds like me.
What I write about are very important to me.
Except I don't write poetry.
I was an only child. I never went with girls
And I don't
much because
know anybody
they were ugly and
to
too
show it
sensitive,
to.
and they used to hurt me. I live alone. It isn't much fun. I'm not painting this picture of myself to get sympathy. I don't need it. But it's important that you should know the kind of person I am. Otherwise, you won't understand what I'm going to tell you. It happened tonight, the thing I'm going to tell you about. Tonight. The 25th of June, 1962. I was down on the beach.
I remember those days. We're at the beach right now.
Mister! Hey, mister!
What is it, kid?
You seen a cop around any place?
On this beach?
I found this pile of clothes down near the rocks. The lady's dressed in shoes.
Well, did you see anybody? A girl?
Well, I think so, but she was running along the sand in the moonlight. I yelled to her, but she just kept running, and then I found these.
Look, kid, you go try to find a cop someplace. I'll see if I can find the girl.
Okay.
What if those are real seagulls?
I thought to myself, she's dead. I'll never find her now in this white flood of moonlight with the surf seething in over the pale sand. I ran and ran until my knees buckled and went down in the swirl of it. The sea on my lips, with the taste of tears, and the whole white night shouted and wept. And then I saw her, waist deep, walking into the surf.
Stop!
Okay, I'm liking this image.
Come back! Come on, come out.
Let go. Let me go.
Don't do it, please don't.
Leave me alone.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Leave me alone.
I'm going to have to hit you. Forgive me.
What the hell, man? That is so stupid.
I hit her in the neck with the edge of my hand, and she slumped. I brought her ashore and carried her to where a dune was between us and the water.
This guy's got a strong, like,
She had
what was
her
that, a slap or a karate chop?
with ancient, bottomless blue eyes.
She's out cold.
She opened them and looked at me after a moment. It's all right. Here, put my coat over you.
Why couldn't you leave me alone?
I couldn't,
Why?
because it's important to me.
You're just too hot.
I suppose you want to know why I did it.
If I told you I understand, would you believe me?
How could you understand?
Maybe I know what it means to be lonely. That's it, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm so terribly tired.
Put your head against my arm and just stay.
I...
Don't be afraid. I've been
Now,
looking
keep in
for
mind
you for a
throughout
long
this,
time.
this guy's ugly.
Looking for me.
All my life.
How did you know? I don't believe you.
It's true. I found your message.
Oh,
So you see, there's nothing to be afraid of. Not anymore. Just rest. The moonlight is terribly white.
yes. I'd like to rest for a while.
She didn't remember it, of course. But I was one of the reporters who had covered the story when it first happened.
Oh, he's a reporter. Okay.
I'll never forget that day. I was working the police blotter. It was a quiet summer afternoon when they brought her in. Two big cops in blue uniforms.
Come on now, girlie, come on.
Let me go. I haven't done anything.
Take it easy now.
What's the trouble, Connolly?
Disturbing the peace, Sergeant.
Is this that Central Park call?
Hey, this is it.
I thought you radioed that there was a near riot up there.
Oh, you should have seen the place.
All right, give me the report.
Well, me and Bennett got up there, and there was a mob of people all surrounding this girl, see? So we bust through, and there in the middle of maybe 600 people, she's lying there, sort of in a faint. I asked a couple of people what the difficulty was, and they tell me it's the flying saucer.
The what?
The flying saucer.
Flying saucer.
What flying saucer?
Let me finish, Sergeant. What flying saucer, I ask. And then they says,
Wait.
this girl was standing on the green, and suddenly the saucer comes down and starts whirring over her
I don't
head.
think UFOs,
Halo.
they were called UFOs back
What
then.
is this, miss? A gag?
It happened.
I think they were just called
It
saucers.
did, eh? Well, now
To...
suppose you tell me your version.
I was standing in
Didn't
the
think
car.
that one through.
I looked up, and there it was.
Describe it.
It was beautiful. It was golden with a dusty finish, like an unripe Concord grape. It made a faint sound, a chord of two tones. And it circled over my head like some great round hummingbird.
Go on.
Well, other people must have seen it because they were all looking at me and pointing. I saw one man cross himself. And then
It was hard to miss a giant grape.
he touched me and spoke to me.
This flying saucer spoke to you.
Yes.
And, just what did it say to you?
Please
I
send
said, what did it
nudes.
say?
I can't tell you.
A secret, huh?
That's what it is.
Yes.
I see. Connolly, this girl is for Bellevue.
Well, Sergeant, the plain fact is that it happened just like that. And 10 witnesses all agree it did.
Are you trying to tell me that there was such a thing as this whirring hummingbird of a saucer?
Oh, there was that,
I think I'm
Sergeant.
going to have to change my rule to every time they say
How
saucer.
do you know, Connolly?
Well, we've got the thing out in the squad car.
You
I'm actually
This
invested
thing
in
is
this
right
story,
now,
though. I'm not
see?
going to lie.
About 36 inches across it is, and covered with
I do a
strange
shot real quick.
marks.
Great, Mother. Did you call the bomb squad?
I think we're at 2 right now, but I'm
Well,
not going to
think
take
of it.
2 shots or
This may be some
right
kind
in
of
a row.
atomic
I will throw up.
I'll turn it over to ballistics.
Never mind about ballistics. Call the FBI and tell them we've got this thing.
Yes, sir. What about the girl?
We'll book her on disturbing the peace.
Oh, God.
I've got a feeling the government men may want a word with her.
Sergeant,
What is it,
Oh.
Fridays?
I'd like to do a story on this for my paper. Could I have a look at the saucer?
I don't like
We'd
this.
better clear it first.
Well, could I talk to the girl?
After she's been booked.
Jack Daniels and then chased with Truly. Strawberry Truly. Ugh.
Well, I'll run up there and get some
This was a terrible idea.
Talk to the girl. Up at the park, they were still buzzing about it. Some said she was a communist agitator. Some said it was a flying saucer from Mars, and she had stepped out of it. Others said she was a saint, and it was her halo. I took some notes, phoned the paper, and went back downtown to talk to her. But there were a couple of agents with her, and they wouldn't let me in.
Now then, Miss...
Like government
you told the
agents?
Sergeant, this saucer spoke to you, is that correct?
Yes?
Nope, saucer.
Did it speak to you in English?
Holy crap.
I don't know.
You did understand it, though.
I will throw
Do you
up.
speak any other languages?
Oh my god.
Tell me, what message did you receive from this instrument?
Wasn't anything, really.
Suppose you tell me.
I'd rather not.
Miss, let me be very frank. I'm not a policeman. I'm a security agent. That means that I deal with problems that affect the security of our country.
No.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, we've examined this flying saucer enough to know that it is not of American manufacture. It also possesses an extremely high radioactive count. Now, that means that it was made in an area where radioactive materials are in great abundance.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on my
Area where
podcast or
atom
not.
bombs are
So
made.
pretend you
That's
didn't hear
why
the F
we
word.
want to know the message you received from the saucer.
There was no message.
You just made it up.
Yes.
I'm afraid you're lying.
I'm telling
Suppose we
you,
have some soldiers
the
bring the saucer in here and hold it
the
over your
flying
head.
saucer
I don't care what you do.
All right,
totally
boys,
told
bring
her
it
to
in.
send nudes. But she's too embarrassed to repeat it.
Now, when I tell the men to hold it over your head, you try to recall what it said.
I don't know what it said.
Lift it up, boys. Hold it right over her head.
I love the sound effects of the guys right there,
talking
where
to
they're
you now,
lifting it up. Boys, lift it up.
What is it saying?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What did it say? All right, boys, crate it up and send it down to the National Research Laboratories.
What about the girl?
Yeah.
We'll get nothing out of her. I don't believe she really
I think
knows
they could
what
hire
the
me.
noise is. Better have a psychiatrist examine her.
Yes, sir.
They took her to the city hospital, and she had a room to herself. Whenever the door opened, she could see the policeman outside. The door opened quite often. There were a lot of important people, some in army uniforms, who came up from Washington just to see her and talk to her. Apparently, they had analyzed the flying saucer and discovered something that made this girl about the most important person.
Did you say saucer again?
I
Yo,
stand outside
I can't
and
do
I
the
stand
shots.
ahead
It's
of
just
the
got to be a
security
swig from this nasty, strawberry, truly.
Sir, excuse me.
Yes?
I'm Jason Beniades.
All right, here it goes.
I've been assigned to this flying saucer story as chief of the
I'm
security
sorry,
section.
I have no
I
comment.
took a big
Can you tell
swig.
me how long the girl will be held?
That's the matter for the civil authorities.
Well, have the psychiatrist
Excuse me,
determine-
Mr.
If I
Beniades.
do the
My car's
jack,
waiting.
I'll be dead. I don't think you guys want to listen to me die.
A few days later, she was released from the hospital and returned to the court to be tried on the disorderly conduct charge.
It's kind of messed up that they, like,
$15 and turned her loose.
want to send her to jail.
When she walked out of the courtroom, she was
For
handed a
this.
subpoena to appear before a congressional committee in private
At least
session.
it's only $15, though.
She answered all their questions except one. My paper sent me over to cover the hearings.
Now, young lady, I want to remind you that I'm a senator of the United States and empowered by the people of this country to ask questions relating to matters of security. You understand?
Yes,
Your name is Janet Boyce, is it not?
I told you that.
Now, at an earlier session, you testified that as a young girl, you were a member of a certain organization in your neighborhood.
The Girl Scouts.
Did you name it?
The Rinky Dinks.
Who comprised the...
I was way off.
It was just a bunch of girls who got together to play field hockey and listen to recordings.
Any particular recordings?
That's literally the Girl Scouts.
See. Now, this flying saucer, you said it talked to you. You did say that, didn't you?
Yes,
And then you denied it.
Yes.
Why?
because I was tired of answering questions.
Young woman, let me put something to you squarely. Oh, by the way, I think that there are members of the press here. I can divulge a rather spectacular piece of information to you. This flying saucer has been thoroughly examined.
There it is,
and analyzed.
saucer. Drinking.
I wish to inform the people of this great nation that it definitely, I repeat, it definitely
Strawberry.
did
Gross.
not originate on this planet.
Wait,
Now then,
the judge just said that in front of the press.
consider that it is
That is not how that would go.
attacked from outer space by beings much stronger and cleverer than we are. And consider that perhaps
Anybody who knew, I feel like, would be locked away, taken to DC or something.
you owe it to the
Or
world.
just disappear.
I don't think I owe anything to anybody.
Even if the Earth was not attacked, just think what an advantage it would give this country over its enemies. Young woman, I ask you, what did that flying saucer say to you? Do you know that what you are doing is tantamount to working for the enemies of your country? I will give you one more chance. What was the message?
You guys are pushy, huh?
It was personal.
Gentlemen, I move that Miss Janet Boyce be cited for contempt.
The furor was fantastic. The chief of security blasted the senator for divulging secret information about the origin of the flying saucer, and the senator said the people had a right to know, and besides, he was just guessing anyway, and happened to guess right. Meanwhile, the press printed the girl's picture all over the front page and ran banner headlines such as, "Girl refuses to betray Martian secrets. Flying saucer girl won't talk, cited for contempt." The contempt trial was equally spectacular.
That's messed up. They're painting her like
She didn't
that.
need any amendment or anything. She just said the saucer was talking to her, and it was nobody else's business. She was convicted and sentenced to 5 years in prison.
5 years in prison because the UFO talked to you.
Yes, Chief.
And you don't tell anyone what
Sunday
it
supper?
said.
What?
Could be worse, I
Do you
guess.
think there's anything in it? Okay, whatever you say. Mike.
I love the
get me
phone
everything you can on
sound.
that
That's
flying
awesome.
saucer girl, will you? Yeah, the one that was sent to jail about 4 years ago. See if you can find out what she's doing now. She was released about 6 months ago, I think. Uh-huh.
Okay, so this is the reporter from the
Boss wants a
beginning.
feature for the Sunday supplement. Okay. I found out she had gotten a job cleaning at night in offices and stores down near the beachfront. There weren't many to clean, but that meant there weren't many people to remember her face from the newspapers. I tracked her down and caught up with her in a one-armed coffee joint about 4 in the morning.
Oh, I guess she's like a celebrity in a way.
Excuse me, miss. Do you mind if I
Because
sit here?
the media painted her as this like keeper of Martian secrets or something.
Nice night, isn't it? Moonlight and everything.
Which are you? Security, newspapers, or just somebody out for a good time?
You're pretty bitter, aren't you?
Shouldn't I be?
Yeah, I guess you should. My name is Jason Beniades. I'm with the newspaper.
It's been nice meeting you. I have to go now.
Just a minute.
Please.
I can't blame you.
How did you find me?
One of the leg men located your mother. I talked to her earlier tonight.
Yeah, she's not happy about the media trying to like follow her around and figure out more things about the
The way
flying
she knew where
saucer.
you were, you sent us some flowers on her birthday, remember?
Yes. She wouldn't talk to me. Said she didn't want a daughter who was a jailbird.
Who was a what?
Tell me how it's been.
A jail something?
So you can write about
I
it?
promise.
She didn't like her daughter was in jail.
You don't want
I
me to
guess.
write.
That's messed up.
You want to know how it's been? Right after I got out of jail, I met a man at a restaurant. Nice man. He asked me for a date. I spent every cent I had on a red handbag to go with my red shoes. They weren't the
Classic.
same shade, but anyway, they were both red. And I was very excited about the date. We went to a movie. Afterward, he didn't even try to kiss me or anything.
Movie is a terrible idea
Just
for a
wanted
first
to
date.
know what the flying saucer had told me.
Oh, saucer. There it is.
Didn't say anything. I just went home and cried all night.
I know I've probably missed
That was it.
A few,
No.
but I
I've
had the
never
2 shots like
I get pretty lonely.
as soon as the show started.
This time they arrested the man I was
And
with. He
I'm
was
not
a
gonna lie,
Russian
guys. I
agent.
had a few drinks before this started too.
On Christmas Eve,
So-
4 men called me up and sang me a song. Would you like to hear the words?
It doesn't
They
matter.
go.
I'm gonna do my best for you.
Down one day and taught her a brand new way to play, and what it was she will not say, but she takes me out of this world.
I'm sorry.
Now will you go away and leave me alone?
Yes.
Aren't you going to ask me the big question?
No.
Everybody does.
No, well, not me.
He's not like other guys.
Sooner or later.
Maybe. Look, can I take you home?
No,
Can I see you again?
I-
Please.
I don't know. I'm afraid to let myself like anyone.
Trust me. Will you?
Trust me, you just met.
I'm not sure.
You've been talking for
Maybe.
30 seconds.
Maybe.
I'll wait here for you tomorrow night.
And remember, this dude isn't handsome, so she has no reason to trust this guy.
The next night, I went back to the coffee joint to wait for her. I knew she got through about 4 in the morning.
I can say that because I'm not handsome.
Mr. Benides? Yes. Say, you're the chief of the security section, aren't you?
You have a good memory. You mind if I sit down?
Well, I'm expecting someone.
Yes, I know.
Oh, I see.
I'd like to talk to you.
He's going to want him to
You,
report to him what she says.
you probably know that we've been trying to gain the confidence of this girl for some years now.
Yes.
And, apparently you've succeeded where we've failed.
Well, not really.
In any event, you seem to be making some progress.
She may not even show up.
I think she will. Now, I'm going to ask you to help us.
Help?
Yep, there it is.
In what way can I help?
We have reason to believe that this girl is a courier for some alien power.
On what do you base that?
Well, there was the incident of the saucer, of course. We've definitely
Ding, ding.
established that it came from some other planet. And recently, she's been throwing messages inside bottles into the ocean.
What sort of messages?
They're always the same. Now, I have one right here. You're welcome to read it and see if it makes any sense. We've had every decoding expert in the service trying to break it. But we can't seem to find the key.
I see.
Now, she's throwing literally hundreds of these messages in bottles into the sea. We've got many of them, but not all, naturally. Now, what we're most interested in is locating the contact.
Naturally.
And that's where you fit in. We'd like you to gain this girl's confidence even further. Try to find out just what these messages mean, and beyond that, what the saucer said to her. You'll be doing us a favor and your country.
So she's putting messages in a bottle for some reason.
You're certain this is some subversive activity on her part?
How else can you explain the fact that she won't tell us her secret?
Maybe because it's hers, and everybody has a right to have something of his own.
Are you, trying to tell me that you won't cooperate?
I didn't say that.
I'd like to remind you, Mr. Benides, that you have a duty to us.
I know that. I also have a duty to myself.
Yeah, aren't you a patriot? Don't you love your country?
If you'll excuse me. I folded the bottle message and put it in my pocket. I waited for her to show up. The minutes went by, and the hours, and I knew she wasn't coming. Or she had come and seen me with the chief and changed her mind. That's when I left the cafe and walked down to the beach. That's when I dragged her out of the surf before she could follow one of her bottles into the water.
So we're back where we started.
Feel now. Are you cold?
Why should you care?
I do.
Is that why you were sitting with the security chief in the cafe?
I didn't arrange that meeting.
She saw him with
Asked
the
me to
chief,
spy on you.
the security chief.
I suppose he told you about the bottles.
Yes.
Wonder how much of the taxpayers' money they spent gathering them up. think they'd get tired of it. All the writing in the bottles is the same.
Maybe you could have saved a lot of trouble.
Do you think so? All of them. Judges, jailers, jukeboxes, people. Do you really think it would have saved me a minute's trouble if I told them the whole truth at the very beginning?
Wouldn't it?
No. They wouldn't have believed me. What they wanted was a new weapon. Some super science from some alien super race. Science.
If that's not what it was, then, I mean...
No, it's pretty important.
Would it ever have occurred to them that this super race from another planet might have super feelings? Or super longings? Or super loneliness?
She is literally talking about
All
me.
they think about is weapons.
I am the alien.
Isn't it time you asked me what the saucer said?
No.
They all asked me.
I don't have to ask you. I know.
You know?
Let me read it to you. There is in
He pulled out the
souls a quality of loneliness
the letter that he got from the security guy.
Shared as company is shared by lesser beings. Such a loneliness is mine. So know by this that in immensity there is one lonelier than you.
How did you know?
It's the message you put in the bottles. The same message that some lonely, strange being in some other world put into a bottle, only his bottle was a flying saucer and sent across space to you.
You knew.
Bottoms up.
I'm lonely too. Look at me. I've never had the love of a woman. They think I'm pretty ugly. No, I don't feel ugly right now.
Say it again.
I don't feel ugly right now.
Saucer.
Oh.
Know by this that in immensity there is one lonelier than you.
I wonder if whoever first wrote it has found someone.
I think perhaps he has.
This is interesting. Not quite the direction I thought it was going.
She looked at me and said nothing. But it was as if a light came from her. More light than even the practiced moon could cast. Among the many things it meant was the fact that even to loneliness there is an end for those who are lonely enough, long enough.
You have just heard X-1, presented by the National Broadcasting Company in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine, which this month features I Am a Nucleus.
This
by
worth
Stephen
listening
Barr.
to, the outro?
The story of a man who felt he was hexed.
I guess
because
we might as well.
The
Why not?
untidy world had suddenly turned into a monstrosity of order.
I definitely missed some
today.
saucers in there.
Night by transcription,
Without a doubt.
X-1 has brought
But
you
I did the best
Saucer
I
of
could, I
Loneliness,
promise.
A story from the pages of Galaxy written by Theodore Sturgeon and adapted for radio by George Lefferts.
I do
Featured
feel
in
so
cast were
stupid,
Elaine
though,
Rost as Janet, Nat Fulton as
they
Jason,
don't say
William
UFO.
Keane as the sergeant, Jock McGregor as the cop,
Yeah, you live and you learn,
Manuel Kramer as
right?
the chief, and Wendell Holmes as
So
the
we'll know
senator.
for next time.
This is Fred Collins. X-1 was directed by Fred Way and is an NBC Radio Network production.
All right. I think that's the end. Oh. Okay, yeah, that is the end. All right, so yeah, that was A Saucer of Loneliness. Huh. Interesting. I gotta think about that a little bit. It, like I said, it wasn't really the direction I thought it was going to take. It was kind of, I don't know, kind of more romancy and lovey-dovey than I would have expected going into it. I'm definitely more the type of guy that likes the something more akin to the War of the Worlds, where there's, aliens invading and there's action, and it's a little scary. This was definitely more like, it's supposed to be poetic, I guess. Definitely accomplished what they're going after, though. It was a good idea. I'm certainly interested in it. I want to hear more. I do think that it was so weird that the judge just kind of blurted it out in front of everybody that the UFO was in fact an alien spacecraft. I don't think that would happen. There's no way. Anyone that actually knew, like, the truth would definitely be, like, abducted by, like, agents from DC, and then, like, I don't know, like, Men in Black they're gonna erase your mind or something, or they're just gonna keep you in prison so you can't tell anybody. But I mean, I don't know. I really do think that if that were real, that they wouldn't want you to know. But yeah, all in all, the story was pretty cool, and I really like this idea of going back and watching, or listening at least, to these old sci-fi radio shows. This is really cool. Like, this stuff is obviously way before my time, so it's very interesting to go back and listen to it now, and I can really, like, imagine myself like sitting in the living room back in the day with my family gathered around, and we're all listening to the radio. I kind of feel like I've gone in a time machine a little bit. So yeah, I mean, hopefully you guys liked it. This was A Saucer of Loneliness, and once again, it's based on a short story by Theodore Sturgeon, so definitely check that out. I think I'm going to, for sure, see what else he's written. He definitely has a good style, I think. I don't know if he wrote the adaptation or, like, how true to form it is, but yeah, I'm going to check him out. I mean, why not? It's a good place to start. I don't know a whole lot about retro sci-fi, so yeah, I mean, start there. And next week, who knows? Maybe we could do another story by him or someone else. I mean, we'll find out. Be a nice little surprise for us. But yeah, I'm going to wrap it up. I've been your host, Adrian Maddox. This was Retro Sci-Fi Night at the bar at the edge of the universe. Keep your telescopes raised, and